Hello everyone! Time for another non-gaming video, and today I'm going to rank every Game of Thrones Season 1 character based on how evil they were. So let's start. We are starting with Eddard Stark, aka Ned. And the thing with the Stark family is, somehow, they are just too good. At least that's how George R.R. Martin created them. Ned Stark is fairly neutral. He has morals, he has ethics, and he will rather die than step outside of his morals. You can call him a moral fool, but he is neutral in the evil tier. Next up is Catelyn Stark, the wife of Ned Stark. She is almost like her husband, minus the honor and stuff. But overall, I was going to give her the good tier, but she was a little unfair to Jon Snow. So for that, I'm going to give her the neutral. Next are the 5 children of Stark. And yeah, I'm combining them all because, to be honest, they all belong to the good tier. Let's be honest, because most of them are just kids. And even if you think, hey, they were little, you can say annoying. But that doesn't really translate to evil. They all had good in their hearts, unless someone tried to hurt them. Just naive kids. So I'm gonna give them all the good tier. Next is Jon Snow. Now he might not be a pure Stark, but he's just like Star Children. A very good boy. If you have seen Season 1, you can tell he just wants to be recognized and respected, and he can do anything for that. He has strong morals, just like Ned Stark. And he's tried to help almost everyone. So yeah, Jon Snow is going to be good to you. Next is Theon Greyjoy. Now, Theon was fairly older than other kids, and he wasn't like them. He was friendly, totally friendly, but you can still see signs of him wanting more and a desire to kill. He thought of himself as a brave, bloody warrior, but deep down, he was merely a coward. Neutral. Keeping the Starks aside, next is King Bobby, or Robert Baratheon. His rule experienced great peace except for a rebellion, and most of the time he was just drunk and others were running his kingdom. But he used to be a fierce monster during his prime with a strong, vengeful personality. Bad tier is perfect. Next is Joffrey, and remember, this is for Season 1 only. Here, Joffrey wasn't in his prime yet, but he was still a mad kid. I will give him evil tiers. He had tendency, but he was basically helpless because he was yet to become king. Or he did become king later in the show. But the main monster nature of him comes out in Season 2. Now, his mother Cersei, there's no doubt about that. She deserves the topmost tier, which is the devil tier, and nothing else. She just couldn't stand anyone who wasn't her. Her psychopathic nature is a little nerfy compared to books, but she's still devilish in air. Next is Jaime. Jaime wasn't a good guy either in Season 1, but he still had a moral compass, even the weak one. He was just an insecure knight. Somewhat evil. Tyrion might be the most sane member of the Lannister family, and he enjoyed the Game of Thrones, but he was often doing it for himself. He had no desire for power. He had no desire to kill anyone. You know, all the evil stuff. He was just a player, a bad tier. Tywin. Tywin is what I would call a devil incarnation. He had everything. He could kill anyone just to meet his motives, and his motives were his only motives. He claimed to care about family, but he doesn't give a shit. He just wanted to protect his name. Devil tier. Renly. King who never was. He was portraying himself as an honest guy who cares about the realm, but deep down, he just desired power because he believed it was his right. Bad tier because he was mostly harmless. Varys. The brain man. His shiny head was plotting everything all along, and his character was very interesting and deep, especially considering his motivations. I'll go with the evil tier. Littlefinger. Upgraded version of Varys, you could say, because unlike him, he wanted power for himself, and he could kill anyone for that. Straight devil tier Maester Pycelle. Just an old man surviving by being a spy. He was loyal, at least to some extent. Bad tier. Luwin. One of the few maesters who is sane. Give him a good tier. He deserves that for his service. Maester Aemon. King's brother and older than almost everyone. Good tier, I guess. Jeor Mormont. Okay, this guy was tough, badass, and smarter, as he was able to control a bunch of criminals. He is loyal, and his only duty is to protect. Fairly neutral guy Alliser Thorne. Another guy who hasn't peaked for wickedness, but still signs were there. Interesting character, to be honest. Somewhat evil tier. Sam, one of the few decent guys on Night Watch. Good tier. Hodor. I should have created a tier called Hodor. But for today, let's do it with a good tier. Next is Ser Roderick. Iconic beard and fierce loyalty. It's rare to find a bad guy from Winterfell. He is going to the neutral tier. Mountain, one of the most hated guys in the saga. He only knows one language, which is violence. His list of crimes is too long and too messed up. Devil tier, Hound. In season, he was still a dog, or I should say a killing machine. He was disciplined, unlike his brother, somewhat evil tier. Next is Loras Tyrell. He appeared to be a normal, rich family brat type of character, but he was secretly trying to deceive people for his own gains. I'm going with a somewhat evil tier. Daenerys. Her character's development was a little weird, at least to me, but Season 1 was only a starting point. I'll go with the neutral tier. This will change in later seasons if you ask me. Jorah Mormont, spy in disguise. He did his job perfectly. I don't want to mention book details, but he isn't really a saint. Bad tier. Next is Bran, a sellsword who was just doing his job with not much care. Bad tier. Lysa Tully or Erin, perfect casting for her character. And she was mad since forever in the saga and was actively plotting to do some crazy stuff. I'm not going to rank her lower than the evil tier. Robb and Erin. Okay, he was one weird kid. Neutral. Walder Frey. His importance wasn't still super important, but we see almost nothing from his arsenal. Evil tier. Moving on to Barristan Selmy. I love this guy. Shame his screen time was so low. I believe neutral would be perfect for him. Meryn Trant. I have no idea why this guy is always angry and ready to kill. If you have seen the show, you know what type of guy he is. Evil tier. Ilyn Payne. What a badass name and badass work. He is another type of character, and his job was beheading people. Evil tier. Lancel Lannister. Joke of a character even in Season 1. The only major thing he committed was making the king drunk before battle. Bad tier. Gendry. Another claimant to the throne, another of thousands. I seriously lacked screen time in Season 1, but I won't complain that it wasn't enough. Good tier. Yoren. He surely came in clutch during execution. A guy who can get himself killed to protect innocents. The neutral tier is my pick. Another Lannister is Kevan Lannister. He barely talks in the show, but we can tell he knows where his place is, which is below his brother. Unlike him, he isn't the devil. Bad tier. Syrio Forel. Remember this guy you thought would be a bump but actually wasn't? I'm a little confused about him, but let's give him a good tier besides his student. Jory Cassel. Not gonna lie, his death made me a Game of Thrones fan. His character was very loyal and sincere. As you can tell, he respected almost everyone. Good tier. Viserys Targaryen. The Beggar King is quite a name. He was basically a harmless maniac. I'm going with somehow evil because his actions weren't that big, but damn, he planned it all. But in the wrong way. And we are ending with Khal Drogo. No matter how the show tried to portray him as a cool guy, he simply wasn't. He was the most brutal Khal, as he would never spare anyone, not even children during war. Devil tier. So this was my tier list for how evil the FW of Thrones characters are for Season 1. And if you want to see the next part of it, just let me know in the comments. Finally, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching. It really means a lot. Remember, I'll see you next time. Till then, take care and have a nice day.